So if you are going to be trying to conceive soon, maybe start within the next few months, this video is for you, and I'm going to give you 3 helpful tips of ways you can actually start preparing now before you even start trying to get your body ready to conceive. Before we jump into it, my name's Emma. I am a mindset coach for mums, so I help mums actually prepare themselves for motherhood. And my specialty is actually in helping you prep for postpartum. So when you get pregnant, come back and find me. But I'm like, pregnancy and motherhood start before you conceive. So I'm like, let's just start from the very beginning when you're thinking about having a baby and give you some tips to help ease your mind, help get you all excited for the next chapter. And I should mention, these are all things that I personally did myself before. So the first thing you can start doing before you even start trying to conceive is start taking prenatal vitamin. This is something you can start taking now. You can literally take it months before you start trying to get pregnant. And that's going to be really helpful, especially for folic acid, because when your baby starts developing in the early weeks and months, folate is something that is so helpful for their development. You can start building that up in your body and getting your levels all optimal before your baby even gets here. So that's something fun that you can start doing now, something that you can start taking. And I personally found it fun because I was like, I just feel like I'm like doing something productive in preparation for this season. It felt like I was just moving the manifestation forward, sending cues to myself, my body, my brain. I'm like, we're getting ready to become a mom. Might just seem like a simple vitamin, but I feel like it just does a lot of good stuff to help us. Another thing I did to prep my body that I personally found helpful, and again, do what is right for you, but I stopped taking my birth control pill a few months before I started trying to get pregnant. And talk to your doctor about this, obviously. Some are like, you don't have to stop taking it in advance. But again, it goes back to I just wanted to start getting things ready. I knew that was something obviously I was going to need taking. I was fine if I was going to get pregnant earlier than I anticipated. But that was just another thing that I wanted to do. Because I had been on the birth control pill for so many years, like since I was 16, I went on it because my acne was really bad. Actually, that's why I first started it, and then I just stayed on it. So I'd been on it for years and years and years. I think 13 years. So I just wanted to, stop taking that. I wanted to be like, what's my cycle actually like, and just get to know my body properly. And I just think becoming a mom, you just start to learn about your body on a whole new level. And I wish they taught us more at school. However, tip number 2 is going to help you to learn something that I wish I would have known before, and hopefully it will help you as well. Tip number 2 is to get to know and track your cycle. This is so helpful because when you start learning about like, okay, when is the ovulation window, and you start, maybe reading into it, maybe you ask ChatGPT, maybe you ask Google, maybe you, I don't know, read a textbook, but there are these standard or average windows that they give you of this is when women normally can ovulate around like day 14, say. I don't remember the exact numbers, but somewhere around there. But it's so important to know your own cycle because you might differ from the average, right? That's just an average, which means that women are outside of that, window. And I was one of those women. I ovulated later, like by days, than the average, but my cycle was also longer. And so that was one of the things that was really helpful about going off birth control, starting to track my cycle. I got to know my own body. I got to know when I ovulate. I got to learn the signs. And before that, I literally had no idea. I didn't even know what signs there were, what to pay attention to. And I'll share that a little bit with you next. But one of the things you can start doing is download an app. That's just, for me, was a really easy way to learn about and keep track of my cycle. There were so many different ones out there. I think I used Glow at one point. I used Flow at one point. So many of them are similar. Check out a couple of them. You can check out those two if you like, and download one. But the most important thing is to start tracking your cycle during the period, and you'll just get to know your own body, and that's gonna get you just. It's gonna really help you to know, when's the optimal time to try and. And then the third thing you can do is learn when you ovulate. I feel like we're really good at knowing when our periods are, become familiar with that. We look out for the signs for that, but we're not really taught to learn what to expect and like learn how to tell if we're ovulating. We're just kind of given the blanket statement message that you can get pregnant whenever, but there are obviously times in the month, or time in the month when it's more optimal, and there's a whole window around that time, and that's when you ovulate. That's something else really, really helpful to just start to learn about. And one of the cues that you could start to pay attention to now, especially if you're off birth control and you have a pretty regular cycle, is pay attention to your discharge. So I didn't even realize or notice or pay attention that discharge changes throughout the month. And around the time that you ovulate, it actually changes to being more clear, more kind of stretchy, like an egg white consistency is the thing that they say. And that is so true. And that is a really good indicator that your ovulations are something you can start paying attention to now. If you start trying to pay attention to that and you're like, I don't notice anything, I think you will, but if you don't, there are other ways to tell if you're ovulating too, or indicators like markers of it. They're not an exact science, but helpful. Ovulation strips. So they're like pregnancy test strips, but like you pee on a little stick or a little strip. But instead of telling you if you're pregnant, it tells you if you're ovulating by how dark the line is. That's like a personal preference thing. I think I tried that maybe once or twice, but it felt like a little bit too intense for me, and I was actually able to clue into my own body really well and tell when I was ovulating. So again, just wanted to give you a second choice in case you start tracking and you're like, Emma, I cannot tell if things are changing. Those are my 3 tips, the 3 things you can start doing now. They're going to be really valuable so that by the time that you're like, okay, this is the month, we're ready to start trying, you already have a handle on some things. You already know when the optimal window is going to be to try and conceive. You're already familiar with your body, and you already have like a good level of folate, and yeah, you like know what to track. So excited for you and cheering you on, and good luck. Also, before I go, subscribe to my channel because I'm going to be growing it, and I'm going to be coming back and giving you more and more tips, mindset strategies, and help you just have a fun, light journey through this whole motherhood thing. I'm going to have more around pregnancy, the first trimester, and just really like how to keep your spark and find joy in all the steps of motherhood, including this one. So subscribe. You're also welcome to follow me on Instagram, send me a message if you watched this video and something stood out for you, or there's something about it that you liked. Send me a message. Love connecting with you. And that's it. Hope you have a wonderful rest of your day.